But I assume, I thank you. I was just going to ask the recording.
Um, so we have Liana, who I believe is, and that's my cousin Gabe in the background there, and her dog Remy hanging out. Um, but Liana, I believe, is originally from Puerto Rico, I think, and lives in Rochester. Did you ever live in Rochester?
I was in New York, but now I'm in Colorado.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And how did you know Jenna Skivington?
She just found me on Instagram and just went from there.
Cool. Where were you living at the time?
In New York.
New York City?
Brooklyn, but worked in the city. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. So yeah, I'll let you kind of like introduce yourself and then we'll hop into the call.
Yeah. So will I have access to like share my screen?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I'll give you access here. Let's see.
Okay. Because I can start through there. Let's see.
Allow participants. Yep. Yeah, it should be good.
There it is. Oh my God, I have like all the tabs open. Anyways, so kind of today I kind of wanted to talk about setting realistic and tangible goals because I know that this is the time where everyone is doing that. So I wanted to make sure that, you know, even my team does it, you guys do it. But before I go into that, as Pat said, my name is Liana. Everyone calls me Lee. It's just short, sweet, straight to the point. I've been a coach for about 6 years now, and I am like a huge planner. I mentioned fanatic here, but in reality, I'm more of a freak. Because I love everything planning, goal setting, all the things. And doing this is making me sweat. So I'm like the biggest introvert that you will ever meet, see, all the things. So that's just a little bit of a background. So when it comes to having goals, and if you have any questions throughout this whole thing, please let me know. We can pause, answer questions, all the things. But when it comes to having goals, there's many ways that they can fail. So when it comes to, you know, when you set goals, like let's say right now we are on the 4th of January, we all have these massive goals for, let's say, summit. We all have massive goals for the end of the year, but there's many ways that they can just go down the drain in prettier words. So a few of them are when it doesn't seem achievable. Another one is when we self-sabotage. That is a very big one. When they aren't clearly defined, when success isn't defined, when we have too many goals that are set, and when we don't have a plan, and when it isn't aligned to our social media. Because of course, when it comes to all of this, I'm going to be only talking and focusing on our business, like our Beachbody business. So I want to make sure that you guys understand that what I'm talking about today is that, not, you can kind of take this and put it into your own life goals and stuff like that, but for today it's business. So those are a few ways that it definitely can self-sabotage. Again, the biggest one. But when it comes to setting like a goal roadmap, these are 3 things that I've found are extremely important. Number 1 is aligning to your vision. It should basically lead you into that big vision and, you know, that big grand idea that you have for your business and your life. Number 2 is that it aligns to your bottom line goals, like the actual end goal. And then number 3 is, again, it aligns to your social media. Our social media is our storefront. So we want to make sure that that is what people are seeing. Yes, we have a life outside of this business. That is super important as well. But we want to make sure that what we are sharing, what we are posting, has to do with all the goals that we have set for ourselves at the beginning right now. So when it comes to vision casting, and I'm kind of going to go like one by one because I feel like this is really, really, really when when we are vision casting, one of the biggest things that we should be doing is being as clear as possible and basically utilizing all of our senses. So when we are vision casting, we want to make sure that we can see it, that we can kind of touch it, that we can kind of smell it, that we can taste it, and then we can hear it. So a big example is, and I'll even mention mine, we have a big vision of buying a house very soon. And one of the biggest things that I would love in that is to have my own office, right? Right now, so you can see behind me, this is where I've been doing my business. So one of the biggest things is when you are vision casting, let's say for your business, I can see that this business is going to allow me to have that house, that I am going to be able to, sit and touch my desk and be able to have my 3 planners laid out without clutter. I can basically smell lavender because it feels good and I know that it is relaxing. I can basically taste my energize because I live off of that stuff, and I can hear, my husband waking up, going to work, and my dog that is basically sitting right here next to me, like barking because he can see something. Those little tangible things make it more realistic than you just saying, I want to be elite, right? Because there's nothing behind it that makes us want to keep going. We want to make sure that we can actually fully see that end point for all the work that we're doing, the time that we're putting into the business. And it's kind of the same when you think about it in our own wellness journey. We want to be able to see ourselves stronger, to feel stronger, to be able to, taste the healthy food, to be able to hear people say, I want to do this with you. It's kind of the same feel. We just have to really make sure that we know all the little details that are going to bring us towards that end goal. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
Totally, 100%. Can you repeat what you said about, like, because this is something that I see happen a lot, that coaches get so caught on elite rank, the number, like success club points, like the little prizes that they give out, like being able to walk across the stage. Those are all like cool things, but can you repeat what you said about like making that your focal point and your only focus?
Yeah. So like honestly, when it comes to, and I've definitely been there. I know Christina, you know about this, Annie, you know about this. I was like, I brought my planner out and I was like, I want to be elite because I love that I watch all these top coaches, and whenever they get to their hotel room at the end of the night, they have like something in their bed or like some prize or whatever. But in reality, I was just seeking a title that doesn't have a meaning behind it. I didn't see the bigger picture of this was something that was putting me out of my comfort zone. This was something that was helping me get to my end goal of, let's say right now, building a house. It wasn't helping me, be the person that I want to be, a leader, a coach, a true, now body coach that we can be. Instead, I was just seeking a title and some recognition. Obviously, recognition is awesome, but it's not the end goal. There's so much more that we can seek when it comes to vision casting, when it comes to this business, when it comes to everything that we put into every single day to be able to grow as humans, to grow our confidence, to grow, daily. I can say it many, many ways, but it's one of those things where when we do set goals, we want to make it more tangible, more realistic, because we're the ones experiencing it. And yes, everyone has a different way of seeking or looking at this business. Yes, like at the beginning, I freaking loved the little prizes or whatever because I knew that it was pushing me a little bit forward. It was kind of like a little mile markers, which I'll explain a little bit in a second. But in reality, I was seeking those prizes, whereas I should have been seeking the end goal that is something that's going to help my life in terms of, you know, getting a house or being able to pay for my bills or being able to, you know, just grow as a human. Did that help? Okay.
100%. Yeah, I think that's
Awesome.
such an important thing to, think about, what you want to feel, what you want your life to look like, what you want it to even smell like. You said like having the lavender, like those things are so important, because I think if our only focus is to hit Success Club every month, and that's the only thing we're teaching our coaches, that's the end all be all, and then they have a tough month, they think they're a failure, and
Mm-hmm.
they're missing the big picture of
Mm-hmm.
just doing the little things every day that are gonna like help you grow. And there's gonna, just like life, like you're gonna have months where it seems like you're getting better, you're gonna have months where it seems like it's going backwards, and that's part of the human experience. And
Mm-hmm.
if you just kind of have that abundant mindset of, hey, like I'm working towards this, I'm gonna have months where I might not hit Success Club, I'm not gonna beat myself up, I'm focused on the big picture goal of finding those 2 or 3 leaders that want to live this lifestyle and want to step into, out of their comfort zone and become leaders with me. That's who I want to lock arms with and connect with. And yeah, I've just kind of always thought that if you just never gave up at that and you had that long-term mindset, it's just kind of inevitable that you're gonna eventually find and lock arms with those 2 or 3 rock stars.
Mm-hmm.
Never know who they're going to be.
Sure.
You never know who those couple good rock stars are going to be on some of each of your legs.
Mhm.
A lot of times they might not be personally sponsored coaches,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
working with those non-PS coaches might not help your Success Club or your rank, but it creates that vision casting. Like that's why the vision casting is so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so much more than just like what you were saying, Success Club or the rank or the recognition or whatever. There is so much more that we can accomplish, that we can like gain from this, that is important to like always keep that in the back of your head. Because again, being in this business for like 6 years, I've definitely been in all different areas where like I seek the recognition, or I was focused so much on Success Club that I like beat myself up when I lost it. Like it's all of those different things, but in reality, it wasn't helping me because it was more of a self-sabotage rather than keep going. You can actually do this. Don't focus on those tiny things. There's so much more that is way bigger, that's what we should be focusing on. So awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go into actual goal setting. So this is something that I practice with actually Melanie Mitro. She definitely helped me, goal set, do all the things. And this is what I'm going to be taking on for 2023. So I highly encourage you to like take notes, do all the things as far as like planning for your own goals. But when it comes to goals and goal setting, it's super important to understand what your bottom line is. So for example, your annual goals, what is something that you want to be able to achieve when you wake up on December 31st of this year? Yes, we just started the year. That is why we're doing this call, but what is going to be that bottom line either in your sales goal or your team goal? These are some things that even though you just vision cast it and it's, all the pretty fluffy things, these are things that are going to push that vision forward. Okay. So when it comes to that, we need to make these kind of like mile markers. So they're the smaller goals that build into that annual goal that you set for yourself. And these can be split up by quarterly. So obviously 4 times, monthly, 12 times, weekly, can't count, daily, 365. Okay. So these I'll go more into detail, but it's super important because one of the biggest things when it comes to time and planning out your goals, if you give yourself too much time, you will utilize all of that time to be able to do it. And then you're going to wait until the last second and then get frustrated and give up, self-sabotage. So the reason it's important to set up goals little by little is because you only focus on that small tangible goal that obviously is going to lead into your big goal. But because you're not focusing only on the big goal that happens on December and focusing on, let's say, what happens in this next week, that is how you're going to keep actually going. Instead of saying, okay, I'm going to achieve, I'm going to say it again, elite by December 31st. You're going to wait until December 1st to be actually doing anything for your business, and then realize that you just gave up 11 months out of your year because you only focus on that end date of December 31st to actually do something. So there's a reason, and it's something that happens. There's actually like a theory about it that if you give yourself too much time, you're actually never going to do it. So we want to make sure that we're giving ourselves the SMART goals that we all know. I'm going to say it again because we always need a refresher. SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So these are two examples that I've seen when it comes to like sales goals and when it comes to team goals. So for example, these are two bigger picture goals that we're going to actually break down so that you can see how you can split it up by quarterly, monthly, daily, weekly. Okay, so number one is I will earn $25,000 in sales by December 31st. And the other one is add 13 new team members by December 31st. Two of them, they seem pretty realistic. Obviously, the big number is kind of a little bit scary right now. But the thing about that is when you have that end goal, you're able to set that goal and kind of backtrack to be able to set the smaller goals that lead into that big one. Okay. So when we break it down, and this is an example for I will earn 25,000 by December 31st. If you split it by quarterly, it's obviously divide by 4, it's 6,250. So you now say I will earn 6,250 per quarter. Okay. But then if you break it down monthly, that's 25,000 by 12, that's $2,083 per month. That seems more realistic than the 25,000, correct? Because it's more in detail as to what you need to do in a month that's going to add up every single month to be able to get to that big picture. So instead of just focusing, I'm going to earn 25,000 by December 31st, focus on this little number here that is going to be able to add up little by little and is more tangible, is more realistic. Obviously, these numbers, I'm just making them up, but it's something that is less intimidating than looking at the 25,000, correct? So this is something that when it comes to sales goal, this is what you need to look like. And obviously I just put quarterly and monthly. You can divide this up even more. Let's say, what do you need to do in a week? What do you need to do in a day? Those little things are what are going to add up. We need these mile markers because it's less intimidating. It's less sabotaging later down the road, and it's actually realistic. Okay. So if we break down the team goal, I'm going to add 13 new team members by December 31st. Obviously, these are numbers and they don't fully add up because humans can't be divided by like 3.25. You can't just find a human that is, that number. So if we are looking at it quarterly, you're going to add 3 members by quarter 1, 2, and 3. And obviously, because we have the 0.25, we need an extra human there. So adding 4 members by Q4. Okay. And if you split it by monthly, that is 1 person per month. Okay. That is realistic. That is something that we can look at and say, I can actually do that. That's more realistic than saying I need to add 13 new team members, right? That's scary. Adding 1 person is not. Okay. So that is why it's super important. And I'm repeating myself because as many times as people repeat themselves, sometimes you need it the 3rd time to be able to get it into your brain. Break it down, place the mile markers. It is way more tangible, way more realistic, and less intimidating. Okay. So when it comes to planning your month, this is something that literally sparks my heart. I love it. Planning is just literally what I do on a daily basis. Again, I literally have 3 planners for this year and I'm so excited. Anyways, so you need to make sure that you are planning for both of the things, either your sales goal, your team goals. Of course, I'm just mentioning it like this because this is what I have an idea for everybody. Obviously, when it comes to your business, you make sure that you are aligning to what you want to achieve throughout the year. But both of these 2 things, the sales and the team, are basically the same. You just switch a little bit of what you need to be doing. So for example, for your sales goal, when is your virtual gym or whatever it is that you call it open for enrollment? When does it close? Make sure, this is something that I learned, have an end date. It kind of creates that whole like making sure that people are set, making sure that people are ready, making sure that, especially now that they have the monthly rotation thing on body, we want to make sure that people are in to start at the same time so that they have a group, all the things. But make sure that you do have like an open date and a close date, because it also goes into the whole team focus. I'll explain in a second. But plan out when you're going to be posting about it. Like, when do you want to create call to actions, either in your posts or in your stories? Make sure that you do this like every other day, basically, because not everyone looks at your stories and your posts every single day. It's super important to understand that. Plan out how many invites you're going to send daily and weekly, because we want to make sure that you're planning when you're going to be working your business and completing your tracker. Because again, there's a tracker for a reason. Tracker creates trends. That's how we can know what we're doing for our business. And then when it comes to planning out for your team goals, it's kind of the same. So figuring out when you're open for enrollment, when does it close? When are you going to post about it and share it in your stories? How many invites are you planning to do daily? Are you going to be doing a webinar? Set a date for that so that you can actually start posting about it and sharing about it. And do you have a new coach mentorship? Set a time, same thing. Do you have a date that it begins? Do you have a date that it ends? Do you have a date that they can get started? All of those things are super important to add into your calendar, into your planner, because first of all, it makes it easier to talk about. Second of all, you're not like scrambling at the end, trying to figure out what you're about to post for the day. And it just makes it a lot more simple, because you can take it month by month, do the same thing. Once you plan it once, you got it for the rest of the 12 months of the year. You do it once, you got an idea for the rest. Okay. So this is,
Liana,
yeah.
what is your like plan that you like to follow for like your monthly, like when you open enrollment for like your virtual gym or your challenge group? And then when does it usually start? Are you kind of following the like every first Monday of the month is when it starts, and you kind of open enrollment and really focus on inviting for just those like last 2 weeks leading up to that?
Here, I actually have my planner. This is literally the planner for January. So as you can see, like, I promoting new virtual gym, I have it all the way through. Basically, the new group started on the 2nd, on Monday. So it kind of continues, but then I'm going to be doing like a coaching webinar. So like a week and a little bit before is when I'm going to start promoting it. I put in like when my customer sales goals is. It's usually between like 13 and 15, depending on how it falls on the month. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so I even have like email my virtual gym ladies that we're hosting a webinar, like all of those little things that are going to be adding up definitely help. And then once that is done, I'm going to start promoting the virtual gym for the next week or for the next month. So like I at least have like when I'm going to start promoting, when I'm going to end things, when my goal is for my sales and my team goal. What's it called? So I have like kind of the whole when do I start, when do I end, when it's happening sort of situation. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah. So this is something that it's literally laying right here, right next to me, that I look at it every single time I sit here to make sure, okay, I'm still in the process of promoting my virtual gym, or next week is when I'm going to start hosting or promoting the webinar, or the next week is when I'm going to do this. What are things that I can do to prep, plan, do all the things so that I know I'm set, I'm ready? Because also I have a job that is a 12-hour shifts where during the day, if I find pockets of time, I can definitely work. But lately it's just been like jam packed. So I want to make sure that I am actually, having everything set and ready. So I'm not scrambling at the last minute and then missing out on the opportunities to actually invite people to whatever it is that is happening, hosting. Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So like I like that. So right there, January 23rd, Monday, January 23rd, it says promoting
Virtual gym group.
virtual
So that's
gym
like
group.
for
That's
February.
that's kind of like when you start your, okay, January 23rd, and this is what I actually have written on my calendar too for January
Mhm.
23rd. January 23rd, I have it written, 2 weeks until the challenge starts. So
Mhm.
like what, I have the kind of a desk calendar.
Yeah.
And so I know like every first Monday of the month, that's when my 21-day challenge is going to start.
Mhm.
And then I do just exactly what you do. I go back 2 weeks from that first Monday and I go, okay, it's 2 weeks until this next group starts. I better start, talking about it, sharing, inviting, and getting
Mhm.
people ready. And you know what? I've done this for a decade, and I've over a decade where I'm doing these monthly groups every first Monday of the month, and then
Mhm.
I get away from them and I'll like just be like, I think I'm going to do an ongoing group. People can join anytime they want, no start date, no
Mhm.
end date. And my inviting sucks because I have no focus, and
Mhm.
because I can invite anytime I want. There's no deadline. It's just
Mhm.
like, maybe I'll invite today, maybe I won't, blah. But if I know it's going to start the first Monday of the month and I have a 2 week period that I'm focused and I have
Mhm.
urgency, I enjoy inviting so much more, and I get much better results from that versus just being like, I don't know when my next group's going to start and just
Mhm.
winging it. So I love that
Yeah.
you have that, because I do that same thing in my calendar. I write that 2 weeks out from that first Monday, so I know,
Mhm.
okay, time to crank it up. And then
Mhm.
I don't have to think about inviting very much. Once the challenge starts, it's like, no, like now I'm focused on making sure I give my people a really great experience,
Mhm.
instead of being like, all right, good luck, I'm gonna go find new people. It's like, no, like you did all that hard work for those 2 weeks. Now let's make sure these people really, like, you're in there with them, you're a challenger with them, you're talking to them, you're texting with them, you're zooming with them, you know you're making sure they have such an amazing experience that they're going to want to do it again next month, and invite their friends. So
Mhm.
um I think that 2 week invite window is so crucial. I love it.
Mhm. Yeah. And also it's in the way that I think about it, like, yes, we want to be able to, have people have an awesome experience and all the things, but we're also focusing on what it's going to do for us. So for example, like the sales goal, I know that I have, let's say these first 2 weeks are basically inviting to my virtual gym. But then I also have these 2 weeks as well that I'm inviting to my virtual gym. So I have like a total of 4 weeks ish kind of that I'm constantly inviting that can help me in my sales goal. But then when I take a look at here, I have 2 weeks of inviting to my business. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously I'm sprinkling in my business as well, like throughout, the weeks and stuff. But I have at least that focus that is going to go to my goal for the team. So if you can like see on here on my monthly goals, these are just like broken down everything that I want to accomplish this year that I then put it there, and that's when I started planning everything. I want to make sure that, you know, you have your goals set up. Then is when you start planning, because you can pinpoint all of those different things. When do you want to accomplish them? How are you going to accomplish them? What are the things that need to happen in order for that to be accomplished? So it's a good thing to have it all like kind of in one place, because honestly, if you don't know what you're working towards, again, your whole process is going to be like a mishmash of like a bunch of things where there's no true focus, and it makes it harder to be able to show up every single day because you don't know what you're doing or what you are actually working towards. So it's super important. Obviously, on the other side, here's like a marketing focused thing. Obviously I wrote down like virtual gym, webinar, and then the next February, I want to make sure that I know, like, because I'm going to start promoting on the 23rd, I know that it starts on the 6th. So I'm going to be saying that in my posts and my stories, all the things, because I want them to know that we are ready to start on the 6th and you need to get into it now. So it's kind of like a wave to see that, you know, even if you didn't reach your sales goal on the first 2 weeks, you have another opportunity on the next batch of 2 weeks of inviting as well. That kind of still counts for the same month, but also you're working on it towards the second month. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love it. So, so you know, you're always going to have a challenge that starts the first Monday of the month.
Mhm.
You look back when, you know, when's the 2 Mondays before that to say, okay, this is like my 2-week period for promoting.
Mhm.
Then the challenge group starts. You're giving people a really great experience, and probably, you know, I've found that like a lot of times people, after they've been in the challenge group for 10 days of experiencing the supplements, the meal plan, the community, the workouts, they can tell if this is something that's going to be a great fit for them long term. And they start to decide around that kind of day 10, day 14 that, okay, I want to sign up to get the discount to continue to stick with these supplements. And I want to start to invite some of my friends to be a part of this next 21-day challenge, because this has been such a great experience. I want to at least give them the opportunity to check it out and at least put the invite out there.
Definitely. I mean, what's great about like, once you have people in, my biggest thing that I've learned is when you start, because you have the people, you know, doing the virtual gym, doing the thing. I hosted on BOD, like the BOD app, as far as like the actual group. In there, I'm like slowly hinting about, let's say, the coaching webinar that they can join us and have that experience. We have on the weekends on Saturday, we've been calling it a team workout, but anyone can join us and we do our workouts together. Those little hints that create that more in detail community about being a part of this team, I'm like slowly sprinkling it in there. But then the day before, or actually I send out newsletters every Saturday, but the day before is when I send out an invite to absolutely everyone in my virtual gym. Join me tomorrow to experience this. See if this is something that you want to add into what you just joined as far as like the virtual gym. This is an experience that, you know, is an addition to what you're already experiencing as far as the workouts, the nutrition, all of that. But then it's also something that you can do to be able to share it with other people and basically get paid for it. So it's kind of like a way for them to experience the virtual gym for 2 weeks, but then also like see if they want to join the webinar or get the recording of the webinar so that they can see, oh, I can add this in, I can do this as well. But yeah. Awesome. So I kind of skipped a little, but so yeah, one of the things when it comes to like actual planning, especially during your month, is like what are some known obstacles that are going to happen. For example, do you have a vacation? Did you schedule time off? Are there some events? Are there something that is going to, you know, take 1 day, 2, 3, whatever it is, off of your business hours that you can either make up for or already pre-plan things? Those little things are super important to take note of because you can add them into your planner. You can add them into your thing. Do I have any sales deadlines this month? This kind of goes back to what we were just mentioning, like having a start and an end date, because honestly, if you don't do that, it makes it, you know, awkward to just keep inviting to, again, kind of like what you just mentioned, Pat, where it's, you're just inviting, but don't really have anything in place. And it's just like a constant loop of just like, I'm inviting, but I don't know what, I didn't doing it, but I don't know what, like, so you're just like constantly in this little wheel. So you want to make sure that you have that, because also this same calendar that I just showed is going to kind of be reflected in every single month of this year. I know what I'm doing. I don't have to overthink unless there's something, again, an obstacle, an event, or something that is going to stop me from actually doing it. Obviously, I can shift, change, whatever it is as easy because I already have like a template of what I can take for the rest of the months. Are there any new product launches, sales, promotions that I want to run? Obviously, you know, whenever we have a new program, whenever we have something new, for example, Health Esteem is happening right now. We're about to go into Super Weekend that's happening this weekend. All of those different things definitely help with, you know, sharing about the different things that we have, either the virtual gym, community, or coaching. And then how will I plan ahead to overcome these challenges to maintain a steady growth in my business? Again, planning ahead when you know things are going to happen, this kind of goes back to knowing your obstacles, is definitely going to make the process easier and actually more enjoyable, because when you do know what you're doing, you find more joy in the process rather than always thinking that you're scrambling, trying to figure out what either to post, what to share about, what's happening, or just overall overwhelm that we all have once in a while. So we want to make sure that we know what is actually happening to be able to overcome challenges, overcome obstacles, and keep that steady growth into those goals that we set for ourselves at the beginning. So it kind of goes back into here, and that is what I have as far as this. So does anyone have any questions? Let me just check the chat.
And it looks like Annie has a question.
Yeah, hello. All right, I love this. I kind of do like literally like Pat said, I do kind of the same thing. And I wanted to know about so I kind of already have it like week 1, week 2, week 3, transition week. Do you do your coach webinars like the same day, like midweek, like webinar Monday? Like, okay.
Yeah. Usually I try to like do it on a Wednesday or Thursday. Because I found that like my people don't want to do anything on Saturdays or Sundays. Monday is too stressful for them. And usually I work on a Tuesday, so I can't do it. So it's kind of like a happy medium of like seeing what they prefer, but then also what I can do. So yeah, it's kind of like understanding your audience and like where they are in their life.
Yeah, like a Wednesday, Thursday, like midweek, people are just at home. They're more likely to get on a Zoom call.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
I had one question, or actually a comment. Oh, sorry, my husband, he's on the computer and I'm on, so we're bouncing off each other. We had a call yesterday with Andrea and some of her coaches, and sometimes people get like overwhelmed, like, you know, so that's why you have the schedule and all that. But if they're kind of new to it and they don't want to get in all the hype of the rank and success club and all that, because a lot of times we're hearing that people, that's what kind of turns them off a little bit, you know, because it's too stressful kind of. So to keep it so we were discussing just keeping things really simple, and like Pat, like you're inviting to the challenge group, and they get the good experience, but it's kind of keeping track of BOD. Like if you just get somebody on BOD, that is becoming residual income,
Mhm.
because those people, once you get somebody on that, because a lot of times it's that challenge pack, but if they just get the BOD, I know it's good to sign up originally with the shake and everything, but if you just get that BOD and get them in the group and they just keep showing up, and you get like 10 people on that, and then 100 people at $70, it's like $7,000. Work
Mhm.
toward 1,000 people, that's $70,000 residual income. And kind of keeping track of people with BOD, and that's like I had 4 people renew this month, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And then also those people, just invite their friends to the group. That's it, like simple.
Yeah, like that's why I kind of wanted to do like an example. Oh, if you sign up, 3 people, that's $150 and all that stuff. But then I was like thinking of, Kelsey, you had done the cash for Christmas where you like broke it down with everything that's included, like either focusing on 3-day refresh or focusing on the beach bars. That is all income that is coming in different ways that doesn't just have to focus on a total solution pack. Like, yes, we can always upsell, we can always down, but like understanding how much more is available for everyone to just at least get the foot in the door and get started is how you're able to get started. Because honestly, like it's important to just do what you can do right now. If it's selling bod, if someone's interested in Energize, if it's someone interested in the total solution pack, that is still one human that we're helping. And we want to make sure that they are still having that experience. Again, like I could have done a whole presentation of like, if you sell 3 challenge packs, it's 150. Let's add up like 3 more. That's what it's not realistic. Everyone has a different way of sharing the opportunity, sharing what we have to offer. So it's more of, you can always deep dive even more into your own goals, your own sales, your own team, but it's dependent on each and every single one of us and how we want to approach all the products that are available. But yeah.
I love that you mentioned that. I actually just did a post in the coach group about sharing about products, because I
Mhm.
know I personally like forget to do that. And
Mhm.
I think my mom's like, share about your Energize. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of like my focus now is like, I'm not just totally focused on selling a total solutions package. If somebody's like, I really love, like, I'm obsessed with Last Thing. And so I sleep so good. And so I'm just like
Mhm.
talking about it. And I've had a couple of people buy that. And so there's so many, really like a handful of products we can sell, or like you said, like mom said, 4 people renewing bod is $280,
Yeah.
something else. So talking about the products is always like really important, I think. And just sharing about it, or like sharing your screen, and like if you have the bike and
Mhm.
but there's so many different ways that you can just bring people into the community. You doesn't have to be this like one thing. And I love that you shared that.
Yeah, because also like example, I cannot for the life of me do 3-day refresh. I've tried it 3 times and I basically want to like pass out on day 2 morning. So basically 1.5 days. So I can never promote something that I'm not going to be like, you should totally do this because it's on sale or whatever, because it's not realistic for me to be able to sell something that I'm not actually using. So when it comes to like all the products that we have, you finding, for example, you're mentioning Last Thing, talk about it. You love it, you experience it. I love it. I've been taking it. My husband keeps stealing it and I'm like slapping his hand like, no, maybe you get 1 pill, but I get all 3. But like all of those little things, they add up to sharing about what this business is. It's not just a one and done sort of thing. And that's where many people, and I've even noticed it with, talking to people that have body that are not a part of my group or anything like that, that they get so stuck on like coaches trying to sell a total solution pack and that is it, one and done, that's it, that everyone gets stuck in there and they feel like a failure because they can't sell it. There's so much more to this business than just selling a total solution pack. And like now with everything transitioning and changing, it's definitely going to be more of like, make sure that you are sharing, what you're using and what you like, and, not focusing just on a total solution pack because there's so much more out there. So,
And another note, if you get the people in with Body, Beachbody does an amazing job, like emailing constantly.
Mhm.
They're, you just get their foot in there, get
Mhm.
them loving the workout, and then have them bring their friends in, because this is so awesome. And of course, energize pretty much. I don't know anybody that doesn't like Energize.
I know. I have like 3 in my bag that I'm just like constantly just like,
Yeah.
excuse me for a second while I wrap this thing and just like pixie stick it. Like, but yeah. Awesome.
Any other questions from anybody? I think we nailed it. Everyone's got their calendars and all marked up for
Yeah,
the
I just want
for
to
the
say
next
thank you. That was super helpful. Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you, Pat. It
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Like I've been dying to like peek into somebody's planner just to see what it looked like, because I'm an awful planner. I have a planner and it's empty. I get one every year and I don't know what to put in it. But like the whole like setting it up for like a week prior, that's my issue. Like what you said, I don't have deadlines and I like know that it's always there. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'll like when I get to them, I'll get to them. I messaged my upline yesterday. I have a person who, the issue that I have is people want me to hold their hands to like walk them through the shopper cart. Like I can send them and I'll see them and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it when I get a chance. Or they wanna talk face to face and like they want me to physically be there like on a Zoom call for them to like do it. I have somebody that since October, they're waiting to sign up and they want me like on face-to-face call for them to do it. And I'm like, I send you the email. I gave him samples, loves the products. He said he's always he ran out of the Shakeology packets and he's like, he has it. He's waiting for me to like, I don't know what the issue is. So I'm like,
if it was my mom, she would drive to that person's house and hover
Yeah.
over their shoulder while sign them up herself.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just been like he works nights, so it's a time conflict. So and his like only time available is of Thursday afternoon. So it's like I have to make myself available on Thursday afternoon for me to like be able to walk
Yeah.
him through it.
Maybe you could just get on the phone with them. You can walk it through on a phone. You don't have to be on a computer or Zoom.
I don't
You can do
understand
that
what the issue
anywhere.
is. So
But
that's
I always ask people that like have weird times are available. I just say like, what about what time do you eat lunch? Like, let's just do it. Like, it'll take 5 minutes, like during your lunch break. Can you talk, like at noon? And then I just knock it out like when they're at lunch.
yeah, I've been like messaging him and he's like Thursday afternoon seems to be like when it's gonna work. So I'm like, okay, I'm like this Thursday I'm catching him.
Nice.
Yeah, and another thing for him to like, if people are like, oh, I'll get to it. Like Liana said, like she's like, we start January
Yeah.
3rd.
That's why I'm
Yeah.
like
Start
having the
February
deadline.
4th. So they're
Yeah.
that like, oh, maybe like
Yeah.
next Thursday. It's like, no, like this is when my group's starting. So it's either
Yeah.
now. So that